Dixie Pedersoli Scout 12-gauge muzzleloading shotgun. William Hovey Smith, 2018. Here I try the Dixie Scout, but find out I have to do a changeover. This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman, and we're about 10 days away from Georgia's archery season. And I got my crossbow already ready to go, and we've done a previous video on that one. And now we're getting our muzzleloading stuff ready. This year I'm shooting something, as usual, a bit unusual. And this is in fact the Dixie Arms Company 12-bore smoothbore shotgun. Now this gun I got last year, and we had a chance to take a few squirrels with it and do a little hunting, but never did really ring it out as well as I would like. So I'm going to hang on to it for a while, and we're going to use it for squirrels, of course, which I can shoot right now, and we're going to try it for coyotes. And we have some special shot here. This is a course graduation of heavy shot. So it is up to single alt buck, which we'll use for a coyote load. And then we'll use it with round ball for deer hunting. Now, shooting deer with a round ball smoothbore gun sounds a little strange to a lot of people, particularly those who are used to sitting out on a bean field and plucking things with a scope-sighted Model 700 at 300 yards and better. Well, I don't have shots at 300 yards, at least not much. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our critters at more like 50 yards and closer in this thick cover that we have here in the southeast. And if you still think that sounds nearly impossible to use a smoothbore gun with only these bead sights on it, the American Indians back in the 1700s killed millions of deer with their flintlock trade rifles, which were mostly 20 gauge. So did the colonists. And these hides were exported to Europe for use in clothing. They liked the soft, subtle feel of deer leather. Well, that trait for deer leather hasn't been forgotten. And if you're wearing leather tennis shoes today, guess what they're made of? Yeah, they're made of southern deer hides. They're gathered from processors all around the southeast and shipped to China. And so your Chinese-made tennis shoes, if they've got leather in them, they're most likely deer leather from somewhere in the southeast. Okay. It's a good little school paper there, guys, if you're interested. I show all of the components in a later section of the video. So we got it set at 70 grains. And yeah, I think that'll do well. Two other instruments are going to be part of my muzzleloading hunting this year. And that is this Remington Sheriff's model, which I carry as a backup pistol when I use this shotgun. Because this shotgun is a single shot, of course. If I have a struggling squirrel, I want something I can finish it with a hurry. Okay, this will be what I use. We're also going to be using the Ruger Old Army, which in this manifestation has been fitted out with a cartridge cylinder and shoots a 45 long Colt. Of course, now I can use this with a muzzleloading cylinder during muzzleloading season, but during the cartridge season, yeah, I can use this, or when I'm hunting coyotes, yeah, I can use the long Colt as well. So I now have the cartridge cylinder in it, because if we see coyotes, I'm sure going to take them. As a matter of fact, 2 coyotes chased my dog in my backyard with me standing in the yard a couple of days ago. So yeah, I got them, and if I see them, I'm going to kill them. A few points on the assembly of this gun. The Dixie Pedersoli Scout, like almost all Pedersoli guns that I've ever dealt with, when received new, have these screws set in very, very tight indeed. And it's very difficult to get them out. And what I use is a T screwdriver typically to move them. Once you get them out and lubricate them, they're fine. But they may be very difficult to extract the first time out. But on either side of the barrel, right here, is a clean out screw, and the vent screw here where the powder goes from the pan into the barrel. These are slotted and they need to be removed and cleaned each time you shoot the gun. The reason is if you need to pull a charge, if a charge gets wet and you can't shoot it out, you need to pull these clean out screws and flush the back of this chamber. And this is a necessity. I have a previous video showing exactly how to do that. Now, when setting the flint, ideally, the flint, when you move it like this, from half cock back and forth, it should not touch the frizzen, it should just clear. So this is well done. And this is a little napping hammer from Thompson Center, this is universal too. Nipple wrench on one end, wedge puller on the other, hammer here. You can still buy this tool from Thompson Center, and you use it to nap your flints every once in a while and trim them up. You don't want any sharp points sticking out because you want the sparks to go from the full face of the frizzen down into the pan. I also have previous videos showing how to load it, so I won't bother with doing that right now. So we're going to get it loaded up for squirrel. Now the load I'm going to be using is 70 grains of FFG black powder here. Then we have an over powder card here, a 12 gauge fiber wad, this shot cup, and I have some crushed plastic bag material wadded up in the bottom here for an added cushion. Then we have number 4 bismuth shot. Why number 4 bismuth? Because I happen to have it. Ordinarily I would use number 6 lead for this, but number 4 bismuth should work very fine. So this is the load we're going to load up and take out and see if we can get something. Oh, almost forgot. A little priming flask here full of 4F for priming the pan. Now for round ball, I use this old 12 gauge wad and then put a round ball in it, and then this is a coarser shot for coyotes. So these are the load variations that I'll have available in my bag. And when it comes time to change loads, this tool is used to pull the charge that's in there and replace it with whatever I need to shoot with. All of the white chips that you see on the ground below are where squirrels have been cutting nuts. And this pecan tree happens to be bearing pretty good this year, and it's right next to the house. And my problem is squirrels get up in these leafy branches and they're very, very difficult to see. I have to follow a trail of falling cuttings and ultimately spot the squirrel and try to take it. And they're most active right at daylight, and that was what happened this morning when I let the dog out. The squirrels were already in the trees. So, dressed in my PJs, I took the fateful Dixie shotgun and went out here and hunted. And we did have some mixed results. I obtained 1 squirrel out of too many shots. I don't think the bismuth shot is actually doing as well as I had hoped. Well, in case you never saw a pajama-clad squirrel hunter, well, here one is. Yeah, with its results. So, we'll go back in and have breakfast now and probably shoot and clean this gun and replenish our supplies and get ready for tomorrow. But this gun, yeah, it's going to be shot off and cleaned today. Again. It's 3:30 in the morning and I am recovering from my pajama hunt yesterday morning. And what we found out that bismuth shot I was using was more nearly number 2s than number 4s. And it shot such a loose pattern that for the most part I was shooting all around the squirrels. Yeah, I did manage to get one, but and the shot when it hit was certainly lethal. But the pattern is so loose that I was getting fringe hits, if any at all. So I needed smaller shot. But I'm 60 miles from anywhere. So we do have, like most of us old guys, some miscellaneous boxes of old lead ammunition bought decades ago. Sometimes 50s, 60s, I think, for this one. And what one can do is recover lead shot. Now that I remember, this is exactly what I did for turkey season 2 years ago and have been shooting on that particular shot ever since. So we have to recover some more. Now, if you have to do something similar for whatever reason, the way to go about it is to take your knife and go into the top like this and then cut down, catch your point, and then cut down into the case itself like I'm doing right now. And as you see, that opens it up so you can quickly and easily dump the shot. There will be more about using a single barrel 12 gauge shotgun as a muzzleloader in later videos when I talk about my almost muzzleloaders. So, we now have some shot, woof, so we can proceed to hunt our squirrels much more effectively than we did with the bismuth shot. And hopefully we'll have more success. Our prosecution of the squirrel season with the Dixie Scout is not going well. This morning I did get a squirrel with our lead loads, so that is an improvement in the art. But I'm having trouble with the lock. The hammer will not stand on full cock. When you pull it to full cock, it catches here. You have the two edges together like this instead of the sear going down in the cock. So consequently, when you touch that trigger anytime before you aim at the squirrel, bang, bullet, whether you're ready or not. Well, nonetheless, I did manage to get one squirrel. But this is a loaner gun, and I am not going to make repairs on it. So this with a letter is going back to Dixie. And this is sort of one of the inherent problems with small flintlocks. Yeah, the bigger the lock, the more reliable and robust the components, and the better I like them, quite frankly. For a hunting gun, yeah, I like the Brown Bess lock, I do. This is a Brown Bess Indian gun shown with a turkey target. Consequently, I got around to making a muzzleloader out of this somewhat sooner than I expected. So this is going to be my almost muzzleloader this year. And this one going back to Dixie. Using the Billy Joe Rubidoux principle of taking what you got and making what you need, we are going to do our muzzleloading hunting season in part with this. Yep, our almost muzzleloaders. So the Scout shotgun is going back to Dixie, and it's ready to go right now. So these are the two guns we're going to be using for the start of this year, certainly on our own land. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. In extreme muzzleloading, I talk about taking all kinds of game with smoothbore guns, including bison. I also talk about smoothbores and backyard deer hunting, and have a dedicated e-book about it, hunting with muzzleloading shotguns and smoothbore muskets. My most recent book is Create Your Own Job Security. Plan to start your own business at midlife. In this uncertain economy, there is no job security anymore. And this book takes you at any age through the information you need to actually start up your own business. Now, I always like the versatility of the larger gauges, like 11 and 12 gauge for smoothbore guns. Now, the smallest 20 gauge was often used, but doesn't just carry the weight of shot. Now, you can use 18 gauge plastic wads and 14 gauge guns. Now, if you got a smoothbore, take them out there. For more information, my books, blogs, and more than 700 videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. For more information on my new business books, you can go to the website below. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.